3, 2, 1. Megan Smith Lyon and the Marshall Thundering Herd want that Sun Belt title. It's Locked On Sun Belt.
You are Locked On Sun Belt, your daily podcast on the Sun Belt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sun Belt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. Thrilled to have Megan Smith Lyon. She is familiar with this part of the country. You'll find out about that. She is the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. They come in as the number 2 seed. Lots to go over. They had not one, but 2 Triple Crown winners in the Sun Belt, how much depth they have in the circle. The lineup, we talk about their schedule and their RPI, and she freely admits, which is kind of refreshing, that due to their RPI, they need to win the Sun Belt Conference tournament to get into the NCAA. So let's get to it. She is Megan Smith Lyon, the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sun Belt, your team every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. We're going through our Sun Belt softball coaches. We had Jerry Glasgow on from the Raging Cajuns, Becky Clark from South Alabama. I knew those two. I do not know Megan Smith Lyon. She and the Marshall Thundering Herd, the number 2 seed in the upcoming Sun Belt Conference tournament. Really appreciate your time, Coach. Give us a little history and background on the Marshall Thundering Herd. I'm not sure if Raging Cajuns fans or Sun Belt fans are very familiar with this team that didn't win 1 Triple Crown. They won 2 Triple Crowns.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. We're really excited to be in the Sun Belt. We're excited for this tournament coming up here in Lafayette. And, we've had a really strong season. But Marshall in general has had a really, really rich softball tradition. Very, very successful. Shonda Stanton coached here for a long time. She's now at Indiana doing great things. And I'm going into my 5th season. And, our season has been really strong. We've had strong pitching, strong hitting, strong defense. We've got a great group of young women who are fun and exciting to watch. And we're ready to see what it's like to be here in the Sun Belt tournament.
All right. So let's talk about the season. The expectations, I guess you guys won a team record, school record, 43 victories this year. What were the expectations coming in?
Honestly, we honestly weren't sure. We lost a lot of players.
Coach, I'm getting that a lot from teams that are really, really good.
It's genuine. It's totally honesty. We lost an All-American. We lost 2 all-conference players. We lost, I think it was like 75% of our home runs. We lost a lot, and we knew we returned Sydney Nestor, our pitcher. So we knew that we knew that we had a shot to win some games because she is phenomenal. But other than that, we weren't sure. We had a lot of young players who had never had prominent positions. Their freshman year, they maybe got some playing time, but not a lot. They weren't counted on. We got some transfers that came in that we weren't sure how they were going to do. It's been amazing to see them come together, to see them progress, to see them grow. I don't know if anyone predicted this. We knew we had talent, but what really's taken us over and gotten us to where we are is how close our team is. They are extremely close. The team chemistry is off the charts. It's the best team I've been around in regards to how they approach things, how they love each other, how they love the game, how they love Marshall. It's really fun to be around them.
And so when did it occur to you that this team was pretty good? Was there a series? Was there a game? Did the light bulb go off in your head? Hey, guys, we got something pretty special here, or potentially pretty special anyways.
Yeah. I think early on we were kind of figuring ourselves out, especially the coaching staff, just trying to figure out who we had and what pieces, where to put them. I think, honestly, we had a home tournament, and it ended with playing Pitt on our field, and we hit a walk-off to beat Pitt. It was a tight game. In that moment, I think we thought, okay, I think we got a team that can compete to beat anybody. Just in how they approached it. They were gritty. They fought. They didn't give up. They believed they could win. And I think that's a big part of it too. If you have the belief, you get a shot. And so after that game, as a coaching staff, we kind of sat down and thought, okay, all right, we're ready to compete. We've got a team that can compete.
All right, let's talk about the team offensively, led by Owen. Led again a Triple Crown winner. 19 home runs, 70 runs batted in. Is that the ball carrying in West Virginia in the mountains, or is she as dominant as she appears?
No, she's the real deal. She's the real deal. Last year had a really good season for us. She was a transfer coming in last season, and she's really taken off this year. And I think we don't talk a lot about this, but the most impressive thing about Autumn is she broke her leg and ankle in the fall, and it was questionable whether she was going to be able to play the first few weeks of our season. And I've never seen anyone be so determined and committed to get back. She was not going to miss a game. She's a fighter, and she was ready for game one. And she's been locked in and committed to this team and to what she needs to do to help us be successful. And she's really been our consistency. Her and Grace have been our consistency in the lineup all year.
So she broke her ankle, you say, in the fall. So I'll consider that September, although maybe not technically the fall. And that's a 5-month recovery if she's not missing a game.
Yeah, I mean, she sped through it. She was determined. Wow. She's amazing. She's an amazing human being. Can
she tell when the weather's going to change by any pain in the leg?
She might. Probably.
She could tell you, especially when it's still pretty chilly up there in West Virginia. How does and we're talking with Megan Smith Lyon, coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd, as we're getting ready, actually, the Sun Belt play opening up today. Marshall, the 2nd seed, won't play until Thursday. How does the fans respond to Thundering Herd softball? You'll find out here that the Cajuns fans are pretty raucous. It'll be a full Lamson Park throughout the weekend. But we've seen, Marshall have this traditional football program. We saw them have this great basketball season where they're scoring a bunch of points and, one of the top teams basketball-wise, drawing big crowds, selling out. How does the Huntington, West Virginia crew respond to Thundering Herd softball?
They love softball. I think one of the biggest reasons that I made the decision to go to Marshall was the support the softball team gets. In a lot of places, Louisiana's lucky they have a great fan base and they have it here. But a lot of places, softball's kind of an afterthought, or there's not a ton of fans. It's just the parents that come. And, one of the things about Marshall that's so special is softball's super important. The community rallies around us. We have a great fan base. Our field, Dot Hicks Field, we call it the Dot. It's an awesome place to play. We have people that tailgate at our games. It's a full house all the time. We had Alabama come in this year and play at our place, and we set the attendance record. We had over 2,500 people. We get tons of support, and our fans travel well, so there'll be a lot of green in the stands hopefully here for the tournament.
So I know this isn't technically Sun Belt, but I feel like the biggest winner with the SEC network, the two biggest winners are gymnastics and softball. I think guys like me, right, who generally watch men's sports, all of a sudden these softball games coaches are going 2 hours. We don't need a pitch clock. They're usually incredibly well pitched and a lot of home runs. I think the women's sports have benefited exponentially with what is the SEC network, and I think that has spread across the nation.
Yeah, I mean, exposure is key. We have young women that are talented athletes that deserve recognition and deserve people to watch, and I think that's what's so awesome about Marshall. Our players feel important because they are important, and they are important to the people of Huntington and to Marshall University. And they know that when they're on the field, because we've got so many fans there watching. We've got so many people that support us online and that travel and watch us. So absolutely.
All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back with more with Megan Smith Lyon, the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd. She talks about the girls in the circle led by Sydney Nestor, who did win the Triple Crown in the Sun Belt. But first, it's Built Bar time, and I am loaded up. In fact, I went through one package already. Did lose some weight in a few days, but I'm looking forward to bringing these along with me to snack on them at the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Are you looking for a delicious snack but don't want all the sugar and calories? Then you need the best tasting protein bar ever. Built. You got to try this. If you're like me and want to make healthier snack choices but don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the amazing thing for you, Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. Seriously, they taste so amazing you won't know they're good for you. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and cookies and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy for you. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built Bars at Built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. I shop at Sam's. Well, you can still get your specialty flavors still at Built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate bar, or coconut puffs. Like those coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie, batter puff, and churro puff. You can thank me later. Be on the lookout for the peanut butter version of Built Bars. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's get back to it with Marshall head softball coach Megan Smith-Lyon talking about the girls in the circle, led by Sunbelt Triple Crown winner Sydney Nestor. We're talking with Megan Smith-Lyon, head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd softball team, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Tell us about Sydney Nestor and the pitchers.
Yeah, Sydney Nestor, a transfer from NC State. She came in last year, had a great year last year, was newcomer of the year and pitcher of the year in Conference USA. And we were excited to see how she was gonna do her last season, and she has been phenomenal again. The thing about Sydney is her presence in the circle. She is confident, and that confidence just kind of bleeds down to the rest of our team. She is gritty. She is a competitor, and I think that's what you need in the circle. I mean, obviously you need talent, but you need to have someone that's in there willing to fight and willing to compete, and she's one of those. I mean, she absolutely is locked in and competes every single time that she steps into the circle.
Is there any depth in the circle for the Thundering Herd?
We have Savannah Rice typically pitches the next, like she's our number 2 pitcher. She's a transfer from Western Carolina, and she's done extremely well too. And they complement each other really, really well. And then we have a freshman, Bree Godfrey, who pitches some innings for us. And then a sophomore, Bub Faringa, who actually this past weekend against Georgia Southern came in and did a really, really good job. So, Sydney leads the staff. She's going to throw the lion's share of the innings, but we do have others that'll come in and be able to get the job done too.
So when you say lion's share, she could pitch at least twice this weekend if, Marshall wins throughout.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We're talking with Megan Smith-Lyon, Marshall Thundering Herd softball coach. What do you think of the double elimination not existent anymore and only a single elimination? It feels like the conference started, we need to preserve our teams, not to exhaust them for regionals, and so on and so forth. That, it's no more, oops, we lost one. You're done. You lose one and move on. That's it. What do you personally think of that? Have you ever had that before in postseason play? Because I kind of like the double elimination, but I certainly understand where the coaches are coming from.
Yeah, double elimination is tough at the end of the year. Last year we were in Conference USA, and we played several games in the tournament. We lost one and had to fight our way back. And, it's exhausting. And when you've played this many games and you get down to the end, you do want your team fresh going into postseason. Those teams that are lucky enough to have earned a berth to the NCAA tournament, we want them to be at their best and not worn down, And so whoever goes on from the Sun Belt, all of us want them to do well. So I think it's a good decision, to make sure that we're, kind of taking care of those teams and getting them primed for regional play.
And then what about the divisions that kind of split right at the end? There were no real division play during the season, but all of a sudden we found out there's division standings, I guess, right? Marshall is the number 2 seed because we're going to have a 1 seed and a 2 seed, one from each division. South Alabama technically finished second, but they're the number 3 seed. In this case, it doesn't really matter because if you guys both win, you play each other. But it could if, you get like, the 4th or 5th place team. What do you think that, a top seed coming from each division?
Obviously I like it.
Right. Just here, right.
We got the top seed in our division. But no, I actually like it. I think that we all knew that we had divisions and we all knew that that's the way it was going to be. I think, a lot of people didn't know it because they didn't necessarily put it up in divisions, right? We were just one block of schools,
Exactly.
but we all knew that, and I don't mind it. Obviously it's helping us, but to have the top team in each division kind of get a bye, I think makes a lot of sense, honestly. I like our divisions. Our divisions make it where it's more regional too, and you can get some regional rivalries, and I like that a lot. And we do play crossovers too, so we played a few on the other side as well. So obviously it helped us. So I love it.
That's a great answer. Usually you don't get that kind of answer. I appreciate the honesty. What about not playing a couple of the teams? I asked Jerry Glasgow this, and I asked Becky Clark this. You guys have not played South Alabama or Louisiana. It's almost like a regional feel here in the Sun Belt Conference tournament because you guys haven't faced each other. How do you go about scouting and trying to match up your hitters with their pitchers and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, we've been watching all their games all season. So, we've knowing, one, we are interested in what our conference is doing, and two, knowing that it's the possibility that we'll be playing them in the tournament. So, we just do what we normally do when we scout. We've watched all their games. We'll continue to watch film, and we're excited about hopefully being able to face them. Our goal is to get as far as we can so we can face South Alabama and we can face Louisiana. So we're excited about that prospect, and we feel like we'll be ready, if we're lucky enough to get to that place.
All right, let's take one more time out. We'll be back with more to wrap things up with the head coach of Marshall softball team, Megan Smith-Lyon. She will talk about where they are in the RPI, what they need to do in this Sun Belt Conference tournament, and by the title of it, you can figure it out. She also talks about bringing girls in for the transfer portal. They've been very successful doing that. And we find out that she is very familiar with the South Louisiana area, as her team is going to be playing on the field of one of her mentors. So I think that is very cool. All right. Again, thanks so much for supporting Locked On Sunbelt. We continue to grow. Some of the videos have actually done better than I thought. Some did worse, but that's okay. We could keep on going at it. Still looking for Keith Gill. Still looking for those basketball coaches. Still looking for those, still some football coaches we'd like to get. They may be tough to find here this time of the year, but we'll see if we can grab them moving forward. But please, if you do see the, please share it. See the video on YouTube. I'm happy to answer any comments, any questions that you may have. A lot of times, again, I will get just as much information from you guys because you're there locally. I can only do so much remotely. So I do appreciate the back and forth. And I mean, sometimes, comments can come off not properly. I try not to be sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic. I will be blunt and forward. If I don't understand something, I will also say that as well. But please, I will happily respond and be corrected if necessary. That's okay as well. But please share in YouTube and comments. They're a big help. And also, don't forget, you can still get all of the podcasts on audio. Amazon, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts from, just search Locked On Sunbelt. And of course, an Apple Podcast, if you want to rate and review it, it would be very special. I would appreciate that. All right, let's get back and wrap things up with the head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd, Megan Smith-Lyon, talking about what the Herd have to do in this tournament to get an NCAA berth, the transfer portal, and what it means to come back to South Louisiana. All right, we're talking with Megan Smith-Lyon, Marshall Thundering Herd, softball coach, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, what's your spot right now RPI-wise? You said a school record, 43 wins. Do you guys have to win this tournament to get that automatic berth, or do you get a couple of wins and find yourself in the NCAA tournament?
I think we'll have to win it. Our RPI is it's not bad, but it's not in the range that I think that they would consider as an at-large. So I think we'll have to win it to be able to go. And I think our team knows that. We know that that's what we're going to have to do, and that's our focus. And but saying that, we still have to take it one game at a time, right? So the most important game we play is the first game, and we can't look ahead. But RPI wise, we're not sitting in a place where we're going to be able to get an at-large without winning it.
So then do you have to change the way you schedule? How do you improve on that without putting the pressure of having to win a Sun Belt Conference tournament after having won 43 games?
Well, I mean, let's get it straight. Getting an at-large bid is really difficult to do. It's not an easy thing to do in a mid-major conference, and there's a lot of luck that plays into it too. You know, you can schedule as good as you think that can get you a good RPI, and then the teams that traditionally are good aren't good, and that kind of messes with you because you have to schedule so far in advance. So, our scheduling we're going to schedule to prepare us to win in the Sun Belt. And that's what we're going to do. And to do that, you have to play good teams out of conference because our conference is really strong. So we're going to do that. And, we're going to hope those teams that we schedule do well as well, because that's kind of the key. I think that hurt us a little bit this year with our schedule. Some of the teams that traditionally do extremely well that we played didn't do as well this season and kind of hurt us a little bit. But at the end of the day, we scheduled a schedule that prepared us for the Sun Belt, obviously, because we are the number 2 seed in the tournament. So we're proud of our team and how we've competed this year, and we're excited for the tournament.
All right, we'll get back to the schedule here in a second because I do want to ask you a question that may, hit home here in South Louisiana. We're talking with Megan Smith Lyon, Marshall Thundering Herd softball coach. How do you deal with the transfer portal? Because you are not bringing kids to a major metropolitan area. How many of them have heard about Marshall beyond Matthew McConaughey and the movie and the plane crash when you're going to these Power 5 schools, getting these girls to come to Huntington?
Yeah, I mean, Marshall has a national brand because of the tragedy that happened with our football program in the movie We Are Marshall. But, when we go after players, whether it's Power 5 or whoever we're going after, I mean, we're selling what we do. And Marshall's a special place. It's a community that loves people, that supports each other, that loves softball. We have a staff that loves the game of softball, and we love our players, and we're family. And that's not just words and a lot of people say it, but it's not just words for us. We live it. We do it. And they can feel that when they come onto campus. And the community is amazing. The city of Huntington is awesome. There's a lot of character and charm in Huntington, and you really feel the love and how much support you're going to get when you come into the community and come onto campus. So, for us, we're just who we are. And, if people like it, that's great. And it seems like some do. So, and they're coming in and doing some great things. I mean, our transfers have done amazing things here. Autumn Owen's a transfer. Sydney Nestor's a transfer. Grace Chellum is a transfer. Sydney Bickle is a transfer. So we're going to continue to use the portal and bring kids in that maybe didn't have great experiences. And we're going to give them an awesome experience in Huntington.
Well, I'm not sure there's any better advertising to, be a transfer to Marshall, come to Marshall, win a Triple Crown. How easy is that, Coach? I could do that. All right. Also, to defend Marshall, I'm thinking Chad Pennington and Randy Moss helped out the national brand for Marshall. And now you got another Pennington as a quarterback for the Thundering Herd. All right. So let's talk about that scheduling. For those who didn't know, and I didn't, Megan Smith Lyon is familiar with us down here in South Louisiana. She coached under Yvette Girouard, which is coming full circle because she's going to play at Yvette Girouard Field with the Marshall Thundering Herd. She coached for her at LSU. So back when you were there was an issue of the Cajuns playing LSU that has softened. So they do actually played a home and home this year. Do you guys get to play West Virginia?
West Virginia does not have softball.
Oh, there you go. All right.
We are the only
Mountaineers.
we're the only Division I softball team in the state of West Virginia.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a win-win. It doesn't even have to be Power 5, Group 5. You're the only Division I team softball in West Virginia. All right. So let's talk about coming full circle. What's it like bringing the girls back to where, you once called home, you coached at LSU, you're over here again, probably coach, going to play on the field of one of your mentors. I mean, the thing that I knew or found out, not familiar with softball, is how big softball is, but how small the family is when it comes to softball and softball coaches. What's it like coming back here and having your team play on your mentor's field?
Yeah, I mean, my years at LSU were amazing, mainly because of Yvette Girouard. Right. I took the job at LSU to work under her and learn from her. She is a Hall of Famer, and she's an amazing woman. As a coach, as a person, she took me in as family and my family. I had a son while I was here, and she was there when he was delivered, meeting Cooper So, I mean, she's an amazing woman, and I learned so much from her and still do. I mean, I'm really close with her. We still talk and stay in touch. She's actually going to come to our game Thursday. So my years at LSU, I wasn't here a long time, but they were very impactful because of Yvette Girouard. So I'm really excited to see her, for her to see our team, for her to meet our team, for her to be on the field named after her, because that's so well deserved. And I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for her that LSU and Louisiana now are playing, and that she's welcome back, and they've named the field after her, because that's the way it should be. And so I'm so excited that she has that now.
Well, it's pretty impressive to build one softball program. Yvette Girouard is basically responsible for building two softball programs, one here for the Cajuns and the LSU Tigers. She is Megan Smith-Lyon, head coach of the Marshall Thundering Herd softball team. Welcome to Louisiana. Enjoy the humidity and the food. We will see you at Lamson Park. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much. Go Herd.